ko yemong report nebo task force nekiyoni kele mong oret nekararan kochulak ki age tugul asikonyor lagokyok somanet eng oret nekararan.
Kong'etege county nebo Nandi logoiwekab emet chebo Kass, kainenyu ko Nelson Tarbei.
Kagomwa DCC nebo Nandi South Mokiem Tanguny kole kokowek serikali kebeberta nebo mbaret ekarishek 58 nebo boror nemwaat kele kikakorep biik en komosta nebo Matambach en Kipshorori ole koib kakwautiet ofisek chebo Kenya Forest Service kokol ketikab kipkaa en komosatak ko oret agenge nebo korib itondab emet. Kaboisien koroinoto kora Chief Officer nebo mbarenik en itonwekab emet en serikalitab county nebo Nandi noto ko John Atireito. Kotechi biikab emet koistoengei rebetab mbarenikab boror asimakiipchi kakwautik chebo kerkong'et. Kenyoru report nebo Cornelius Keter.
Kamwa Deputy County Commissioner nebo Nandi South Mokin Tanguny kole kakowek serikali mbaret ekaishek 58 chekimi eunekab biik kole kamwa kole tesetai serikali ak kawekunetab mbarenik chekikorep biik.
We have an issue here. We have about 58 acres, a stretch of 58 acres in Matambach swamp, and a portion of it was under private use. So we are asking the members of the public across board to vacate public spaces, to vacate public lands.
Kasom County Forest Conservator nebo County nebo Nandi Dennis Kerongo meng'ikab County nebo Nandi kokimit minsetab ketik asikeityi kolsetab ketik million 17 koite let nebo kenyini ole kokomuch kokol ketik million 10.
So far we are approaching 10 million and we are going strong. Before the end of this year we should accomplish 17 million. In the next 10 years, we are supposed to plant 171 million. So we are urging the community, let's join hands. Any free space, let's plant trees.
En komosta nyi komwa KWS Warden nebo County nebo Nandi Agustin Langat kole kobun kolsetab ketik komong kole wendi koweksei tiong'ikab timin cheboto statunga chekikakobetyo.
Kwa hii reclamation, I'm 100% kwamba hizo statunga zinaweza find its way here because tuko na neighboring swamps ambayo hizo statunga zina exist. Alternatively, tunaweza fanya reintroduction with the help of the county government kwa sababu hiyo lazima tuhifadhi pia na itakuwa tourist attraction. Na kwenda mbele pengine tutengeneze kama kitu naitwa ecotourism.
Kasarata kotechi Chief Officer nebo mbarenik ak itonwekab emet eng serikalitab County nebo Nandi John Atireito meng'ikab County nebo Nandi koistoegei rebetab mbarenikab serikali amu bendi kenome ak keipchi kakwautik chekimen ole kamwa kole kokotestai serikalitab County nebo Nandi kowek mbarenik chekikakorep biik.
Koki county government kokokewegu mbarenik cheu chuto chechang eng kapkong'ony kokikiwegu mbaret nesire 30 acres. Enge nimbo in Mutuot ko mbaret nesire eka 100. Ameche akona neta hatari ale ngitinye chito tetut ing'em wetland anan ibar tiong'ik anan ibar akot taritik ko pole kwako. Konekit memi ak chamin neng'ung'et, memi ak lagokuk, memi ak family neng'ung kole maktaat amu kimutin kabisa.
Kailos kakwautyonotok meng'ikab Matambach eng Kipshorori eng mwaet kole wendi kotoreti notok eng wekunetab kei nebo tiong'ikab timin cheboto taritik.
Kimatakomi kong'onyik, mbarani kobo serikali ako kikoboisien eng kenyisiek chechang.
Ako bwane tiong'ik kuin kong'onyik chekitokomi koroni chekingap kolokyinen saos ak terkekenik chemakekose makomitei ak taritik alak tugul chekikikure alak in kuliosiot bas ak in checham kelenin chepkutkutiet ak in chekikikure chebraskong komakekere taritichoto lakini wekse anyun.
Kong'ete taonitab Kapsabet eng county nebo Nandi logoiwekab emet chebo Kass, kainenyu ko Cornelius Keter.
Kakolumda komponitab Kenya Power kibagenge nenat ko Kenya Power Foundation ako noto kowendi kusin ngong boisionik chetinye sobetab kipkosobe taban ak mung'aretab komponi noto kotiengei CEO nebo Kenya Power Engineer Joseph Siror ko alak en boisionik cheitorchingei kibagenge noto ko kanaptaetab somanet, tetutik chebo ribetab itondab emet en kwenutab tetutik alak chebo komonut. Kanal inendet ak sinonyo nebo logoiwek Gladys Yator.
Ane kekurenon Joseph Siror. Ane natelelchini kampunit nebo Kenya Power ak Lighting. Ko betutab ra kokakituye eng yu ketou foundation nebo Kenya Power. Eng betusiek chekikosirto komi tuguk chechang chekiyai Kenya Power kotoret biik mising okot ko biik chomi ngweny eng tugul. koker kele ngotestai nimami panganutik chekororon komaimuchi koyai tugun chechang mising. So betutab ra kokakitoo foundation ini ko magenyo ko ngetou komuchi okot kotoretech biik alak chetinye chepkondok koker kele kakitoret biik chechang kosir yekokimuch achegei.
Komongen Bwana CEO Engineer, eng betutab rani kokolumde tetutiet ako kaimuch komongei biik chechang kokon baornatetng'wa kosubkei ak toretet noto kikomuch konyor ichek. Komongen ale tos kyoker ole oye makat obwa soker kole kokimit boisionik, kokanapta boisionik asikomuch kora koityi chong'indab biikab emoni. Ko kora komitei sekta notok bo stimet ne eng atkan tugul ko melin kele yoe kampunit asikoker kole kanyor kelchin, kobate asikoker kole kaimuch konyor chong'indab biikab emoni maat anan kou maat akichek.
Ya iman inganda kampunit nebo Kenya Power ko kekuren commercial, yani ikere tuguk che nyoru faida eng chepkondok mising. Komi programs che yoe serikali ak amache kotawekchi kongoi mising che kekuren last mile programs. Ko last mile programs ichu ko mising kou ye kemwa komache kotoret biik chemi ng'weny mising chingile ikochi ilechi makat ilipan robishek cheten si inyoru stimosiek komaimuchi icheket. Ko kiito nguni nikinyo serikali kole ngocheng oret neimuchi koityi stimosiechu biik chechang anan ko biik eng changindo mising okot kocho maimuchi koliponjigei. Ko noto nguni boisie ak Kenya Power ko achege ko okot eng komosita kora komi donors, komi biik chebunu sang chekonu robishek kole kotoret amu kere kole bo kamanut iman ketoret biik chemaimuchigei amu stimosiek kowole sobetab biik chechang. Eng wele mami stimosiek komi chorik, komi biik che borishe che tugun chechang mising. Ko kengen kele ngomong lapkeiyet eng orani bo stimosiechu kostogei tuguk cheyach eng wele kakinde stimosiek choto. Ko iman kiyoe kasit kibagenge ak serikali ko mising sorbesiek chuto kobunu serikali lakini kwa cheget ko chekikere kele kaityi iman bichuto komokotin keityi eng stimosiechu.
Komongen eng lumdaetab foundation notok kakilumda eng betutab rani ko tos wendi kotinyei kebeberwek chetya ne kingen kele mitei komosta notok bo toretetab somanet. Komongen ale kora komosta notok bo ripsetab itondab emet komoche iarorwech tos boisionik chetya chotok wendi koityin boisionikab foundation.
Ngele ngo foundation komaimuchi mising kochut kasit ne kampunit. So ikere ile kitoreti biik eng somanet mising okot ko tibik chetom koba komositak nenyonet mising ko machang tibik mising. Chang murenik eng kosisiek chebo engineering. So magenyo ko keker kele kamong tibik chechang mising ot ichek kosoman engineering sikomuch okot ine kotoretech eng boisionik chekiyoe eng Kenya Power. Nebo oeng kora kemoche kende nyigisindo keboisie stimosiek ot eng kekukeni amu biik chechang man kotokoboisien kwenik. Ko ngisub iboisien chito kwenik komi arusta anan komi tuguk chechang che affecteni sobetab chito simatebi keny anan okot konyor mogonjweshek chebo teget ak komoswek chechang. So ko kito nekindeni nyigisindo ko kenyorun biik chekiyoe kasi kibagenge sikeker kele yekata tesetai biik koboisie kwenik koboisie oret nekararan ak netilil.
Kakomongei kibagengeit nebo Haki Africa neborchingei imanda nebo kipkosobe akokon kurset nebo kewekchi en chokchinet ofisaek choto chebo ribetab kalyet kikochi kirwokindet noto Justice Lawrence Mugambi chemwaat kele kikakerebe inendet kosubkei ak ng'atutiet nekikon kong'at kole makat kerat IG nebo kasar en police noto Gilbert Masengeli en aroek 6 kosubkei ak nemoityi komonut kokwout anan ng'atutiet nekikoito kapkirwok komache koitita inendet taitab kapkirwok inotok. Ang'ololi en Mombasa ak sirikab logoiwek komwa ofisayat nebo Rapid Response en Haki Africa noto ko Mathias Shipeta kole nguni ko rebetab asikarik chekiribe kirwokindonotok bo kapkirwok koboru kole maityin komonut imanda ak noto nebo kapkirwok nebo koteleljigei serikalit mising ko kebeberta nebo police.
This unwarranted act of retribution against a sitting judge is a clear attack on the judiciary, which is constitutionally mandated to remain independent and free from interference. It signals a dangerous shift towards a culture where impunity reigns, and those who seek to uphold justice and accountability face retaliation from state actors. This undermines not only judicial independence, but also the very fabric of Kenya's democracy. Haki Africa demands that the National Police Service immediately reinstates the security detail of Honorable Mugambi and cease any further actions that undermine judicial authority.
Tunawaomba hasa kwanza acting IG aweze kuheshimu na kutekeleza maamuzi ya koti ambayo yamefanywa na Justice Mugambi. Na kama hatafanya hivyo, tunamuuliza Profesa Kindiki kama mtu tuliompa kazi kuhakikisha kwamba anakamatwa na anapelekwa korokoroni, anapelekwa gerezani kuweza kutumikia kifungo chake cha miezi 6. Kama haitafanyika hivyo, tumeeleza kwamba sheria, katiba na sheria inatupa sisi wananchi uwezo wa kulitekeleza hilo wenyewe. Tuweze kumkamate, tutamkamata sisi wananchi na tumpeleke korokoroni sisi wenyewe kwa mujibu wa sheria na kwa mujibu wa katiba.
Kitab Kalenjin kokoibata report inotok kong'eten taonitab Mombasa kebendi kemunyi en kasarta nenwach asikeweken ketestai ak logoiwek.
Safi kabisa, kama kawa kama dawa, Loto inapeana zawadi mingi kabisa, inapeana probox, inapeana mamilioni, na leo tuko na ya mshindi wa milioni. Wewe unafanya nini kwa maisha?
Kwa maisha nafanya job yangu ya mkuka. Bado nimeshinda milioni, hata nikafurahi sana.
Ulipopigiwa simu ukaambiwa umeshinda milioni, ulijisikia namna gani?
Nilisikia raha kabisa. Nikashukuru Mungu.
Uliruka-ruka?
Niliruka-ruka nikasema Loto imesaidia maisha yangu.
Hebu ruka kidogo vile uliruka. Safi kabisa. Na je, hii milioni itakusaidia vipi?
Hii milioni itanisaidia sasa niweze kuingia sasa kwa saba. Kuendea mkuka huko. Na niongezee mambo kadhaa kwa maisha. Bibi nimwekee job, na watoto school fees, na mambo yangu bado iendelee sebaba.
Safi kabisa. Na je, kuna wale ambao wanatazama wanashangaa, hii Loto ni kweli ama si kweli? Ungependa kuambia nini?
Naweza ambia Loto ni kweli. Mtu aweke bidii kucheza, siku yake ikifika atakula pia kama mimi. Akuwe milionea. Hata bonus mtu upata kabla ukute milionea sasa.
Safi kabisa. Unangoja nini?
Changamka, cheza Loto kwa paybill number 77700. Andika neno Kass kama account name. Cheza na kati ya shilingi 50 hadi shilingi 1000 na uchomoke na chapa leo.
Over 18 only. Gaming can be addictive. Play responsibly. This message has been approved by the BCLB.
Tatutetam hashtag #NenetesTime Friday neba wiki nitagibwatile hashtag #NenetesTime mashinani. Tutakuwa pale Nakuru tungemite actinic chobota Kilel Jazz Bruni Star
Titane Tamango Ginau Titane Uyango Ginau
Ak Second Junior
Achamin Bepi
Korage Ostini Teninde Tunota was Shuttle Sisters.
You know that I'm put in the side of Musiki Martin.
Vibes and go mix moto komite one and only DJ Redmond. Iwatile crew toko leba hashtag #NenetesTime tungemite for mi Nakuru County omite aganendet Jackie Arusei.
Agotochin chitab Kalenjin ketestai logoiwek cheitun en tetutiet nebo Kass mashinani ole kitokchinigei taonit nebo Eldoret ole testai en inguni kibagengeisiek chebo konetik chebo Wasu ak Kudea en sukulitab barak nebo University of Eldoret kong'elelchin boisiet kosubkei ak nemwoe kole tomo kisuldochi magutikwak cheboto melekwek ak neo komayoni oret nelel nemache koboisien serikali en funding model nebo kipsomaninik chebunu korik chemaimuchigei. Kinyoru report notok kobun Isaac Kogei.
Members of the media and members of UOE fraternity. Today we are here, that is Wasu, Kusu and even Kudea. as the Secretary General WASU, we have come out today because our strike began last night at midnight. WASU and the other unions have been in negotiation since the year 2020. First, before that, Kenyans are aware that every coin that every university worker has now has been through sweat and blood. The grades that we have now, we have been forced to be going the road, we have been forced to be striking, we have been forced to be shouting, we have embarrassed our institutions of higher learning because of poor remuneration. Remember the overtaxation that is there in this country. The chief. We have this other one called housing. And now they have brought in a funding model that is so confused. They have brought a task force to investigate the funding model while our students have arrived. That is the money that every worker will be paid through. It is shame in this country that university workers wait for school fees of students so that they are paid. And we have said no. Yes. We have said enough is enough. So today we have come out as the three unions and we have said all universities will be closed. By 1 p.m. today, there will be no university, so that we shall go and sit with these people, so that they implement our CBA, and it is registered. We will only leave this field if we get our money in the accounts. So, members, we are tired of promises. The new minister, I don't know, is called Mokamba or Okamba, whichever name. He is not even aware which band he is. And we have said no to any minister who want to confuse us. We will only listen to our national secretary generals of all the unions. So from today, we'd like to tell our students, for you to enjoy the future life, please pray for us. Pray for us to get this money. We have become demotivated. Our loans have not been paid. Universities like Moi University, Faulu, and the other banks are now attaching their property. KRA are after them. It is shameful what we are going through. And we are saying today, this is the last strike that we are going to bring in sanity to our universities. We are going to ensure that every worker will enjoy life. Fulisa has finished our workers. Everyone here is now in Fulisa. Mshwari is after our necks. We are in trouble everywhere. When you are teaching in class, your phone rings, you have not paid your bank loan. And we have said no. So I want to invite my colleague to still speak to you.
Solidarity. Kama mbaya. Kama mbaya. Sisi we want to redeem our universities. We want to make the universities great again. We want to serve our clients. Hatuwezi kubali tutumie models. Ni kama tunakopeshwa. Ni kama meter rate. Ni kama kipimo. Now that we are receiving less money because the capitation is entitled for the third year and the fourth year. What happens when the fourth year are gone? It will remain now with half of that figure. And then after the third year have left the university. What will happen again? Then the capitation will be no more. Now, sio ni kipimo jameni? Isn't that kipimo? Yes. So are we working as for wages or salaries? Now, we want to redeem these universities. We want to say the dons and the staff unions have to be respected. Sakayo ashuke. Sakayo afanye nini? Sakayo afanye nini? These universities have been left for a long time. This subsector of education have been neglected for long times. Other unions like NAT, they are being paid direct from the treasury. Sisi tunapimiwa kidogo. Pima rate, hatutakubali tena, and we are taking this to the next level. Students who are now banded, regardless of their status, wamepewa band 5. Wengine hata they cannot have the dignity. Even today they are colleagues because they are classified as needy and poor. In short, needy is poor. So what we want to tell the university management, don't go and please the state house. Just come and present the real things on the table. So as we embark on this, we wish to say, hakuna kazi mpaka tulipwe. Iko ama hakuna? Kama mbaya? Hebu tuambie kama mbaya? Sisi kama University of Eldoret, we have not signed the local CBA. 2013 up to now, 3 cycles until now. And because of the animal called SRC tutoe hii kitu. Sijui tutafanya referendum ama tufanya aje, because we are suffering. The president should hear this. SRC is doing a disservice to this nation. They are bringing obstacles to this nation. So as it stands, sisi tutakuwa nje. We are very sorry to our students, our clients. Because now, when the allocation...
Choto ko konetik choto chebo sukulitab barak nebo University of Eldoret chemiten en kibagengeishek chebo UASU ak chebo KUSU koboto kora chebo KUDHEA konerikyin icheket anan kobendi koyoe kambaget kosubkei nenerikyin sukulitab barak nebo University of Eldoret netomwoe kole tomo koityi komonut melekwek chemokyingei icheket keliponji koboto taban kora ak funding model noto tete kosuldaen serikali en noto nebo lipanetab fees chebo kipsomaninik chebo sukulishekab barak koboto kong'eten Eldoret ngetokyingei county nebo Kericho ole kinyoru sirindet nebo logoiwek Robert Siele neng'ololi inendet ak ofisayat noto nebo kibagengeit netinye kalyet nenaat ko Amani Idumu Joyce Marindany kotinygei ak magetab kwonyik chebo county noto ak emet komugul koker kole kaik icheket chemiten tai en tetutik chebo ibunetab kalyet ak kibagenge en komoswek cheterter chemiten yautik chebo ng'emetab kalyet en emet. Nitok ko asikimuch keboronji bandab tai en emetab Kenya. Report neitwechen nguni koyokamwaun ko neibwech Robert Siele ng'ololi ak Joyce Marindany nebo kibagengeit nebo Amani Idumu.
Missing Victor Gorer en studio nebo Kass Tv anyorunen oret nekararan en nguni amiten en county nebo Kericho kou ole en kasarta nekokiketestai keborenji yautik chemokororon chebo ng'emetab kalyet en kebeberwek cheterter chebo emoni ako en kasarta nekoi anan kasarta neo ko biik chebune kewelutik ko lagok ak chepyosok kobaten en county nebo Kericho komiten agenge en kibagengeit nekikomong'en nenaat kou Amani Idumu netinyegei ak kanetisiet ak kakimitetab ripsetab kalyet en kebeberwek cheterter chebo county nebo Kericho ak en emoni koker kole kaimuch kondo kwonyik keboisien icheket missing en amdaetab kalyet ak chomyet koib katuiyetab kei en emoni ak en kebeberwek cheterter en nguni kemiten ak amang'u ale inendet ko sirindet anan ko afisayat kobun kibagengeit noton nenaat kou Amani Idumu en county nebo Kericho sikobit koarorwech komwowech kole tos nee kit nemakat keyai ak kewelutik alak kaimutik chebune chepyosok en county nebo Kericho ak en emoni. Itakat en noton nebo Kass TV teinaguroiton yu mongen siarorwech kora itaunen kainet simwoe kora title neng'et komie monget ko secretary anan nebo ng'echeret en kibagengeit nenaat kou Amani Idumu. Tos mongen ale nee boroindab chepyoset en tetutik chebo ripsetab kalyet en emoni?
En kainutikchu kekurenon Joyce Marindany a chairperson nebo grupit nebo Amani Idumu en Kericho County. Ki grupit neribe kalyet en Kericho County. As you all know, Kericho County ko cosmopolitan ako mi biik tugul Kericho ni. Kesome kabisa kerib kalyet en Kericho County. Tam kemwoini our youth keleini nising'olyon en Facebook komotiyokte korong. Itechungusan korong kot ko kaman amun niyokte kolole maat en oldage. Tam kemwoini kora barnotikyok keleini keyai biashara ndogo ndogo amun mi kampunisiek chekoin chebo serikali chekoin capital amun ngoik idle kobokochor tua kong'et kora kobet kalyet. So echek ko ki Amani Idumu kesome kalyet en Kericho County. We are not doing very well en ngalekab kalyet, lakini oimbo ui komakoya amun en broad based government. So koker kele kochangian kalyet kabisa, momi ng'ala nguni en Kericho County.
So mangen kemwa kele Amani Idumu kibagenge ina ko inye ko chepyoso. Tos mangen ale nito ko grupit nebo chepyosok icheken ako ne boisietab chepyosok en ibunetab kalyet. En kasarta nekoi ko biik kenyoru kanyalilet ak kewelutik ko chepyosok ngobit yautik chebo ng'emetab kalyet en emet.
Kikikonugei ko ki chepyosok kinetgei kele yan atkai tugul en kasartab bolotet inai ile lagok ko miano ako choronokwak ko ng'o ako en saisiek chon kamach koimen ko miano wering'ung anan miano cheptong'ung. Yan kai kora inai ile choronokab mzee nebo gaa ko ng'o anan miano en saisiek chon kamach koimen en kasartab siasa amun yan kayak boriet anan yon kobet kalyet ko echek chepyosok ak lagok chekeumiandosi kekonu anyun kechop grupit nebo biik lugaisiek mbalimbali chekikurenkei Amani Idumu kerib kalyet en Kericho County.
So mangen taban nebo ng'alekab ripsetab kalyet en county nebo Kericho kebeberwek cheterter chebo emoni chang kora kewelutik kaimutik chebune chepyosok. Tos oboisien mara boroindo neutindoi koker kole koi anan koamde kanetisiet kotinygei ak ripsetab mandab chepyosok, kewelutik chebo gender based violence ak kanyaliletab lakwet ne chepto.
Kitinye kora kanetisiet nebo GBV netam kemwoini chepyosok kyok keleni mokonugei kiseretak. Kemwoi boisiek kora kelei maton kinyalilgei amun atkai kora kenyoru boiyot nekinyolile anan kenyoru chepyoset nekinyolile. Ko culture nenyon komwoe kole bimuiten en kong'ung. Ngot ko imuite en kong'ung ko ime ko kaikai imong'u ak isop. Kimwoini sigik kora keleini culture ko maton kisip kotor kome chito. Ongisip kesoru.
Mangen kursen kone kora koityi biikab emet kotinygei en konit kora kotesetai tuiyosiek cheu chetesetai en betab raini noton nebo Royal Trust kotinygei ak kakochinetab kimnotet chepyoset nebo kochutyi boisionik chebo kandoinatet ngo chebo bolotet. Tos ikere ile ano ole kikobit bitunet nyalunatet asimanyor imanda chepyoset age tugul akoi akine kandoindet kou chepyosok alak.
En culture nenyon kotomwoe en Kipsigis ole kikiyan kele boiyot ko metit. Ko en culture ko amu boiyot ko metit ko kakiwelel kora kele chepyoset akine komuche kotestai konetisiet raini neke-encourageni women kovying for these seats. Kakiyan kou noton amun chorsosiek oleo mami ele kenyorchini chepyosok kokachorso. So kimoe ke-encouragen ke-electen more women asinyokoribwech tugukyok.
Mangen kora Joyce kotinygei ak kewelutik chebo kanyaliletab chepyosok, ng'alekab gender based violence chekikeusaus chepyosok. Tos ikertoi en oret nebo nyorunetab imanda nenaat kou justice system. Ikere ile kikinet chepyosok kotinygei ak cheng'etab imanda asikeistoengei kanyalilet age tugul neunon.
Yan kakinyalil chepyoso ko maton keuny. Ongeripoten amwoini boisiekab kokwet, amwoini community health promoters. Yan kakiripoten akobo chepyoso anan lakwet ne chepto nekakinyalil ko maton keuny amaton keyai kipkaa. Ongeripoten ak ongebe sipitali amaton ketamparen ak evidence. Ongeripoten siketoret chepyosanoto anan ketoret lakwanoto. Kotestai kanetisiosiek ako tekeyoe kipkaa, maton keyai kipkaa bikyok. Ongesarun lagochu ak kimut sipitali akosich toretet nenoton.
Miten kora logoiwek anan report nekiimuch komong koindo komalo kotinygei ak kamanagetab lagok chemengechen anan kaburunetab lagok en county nebo Kericho. Komiten nekit karibu yautik cheite nekit 11,000 en emet en kasartab kenyit agenge. Tos mangen ale ne kit nemagat kora keyai asikechor yautik cheu chu cheng'eme sobetab lakwet ne chepto?
Makimi komie any Kericho en ng'alekab lagok chemengech chekomonokso komi sukul. Ako testai kanetisiet awechini kongoi serikalit nebo Kericho County amun testai kabisa konete ako toreti lagok che tibik chekikosikis en gaa kowek sukul. Kiweche kongoi amun siche bursaries chebo constituency chebo MPs, siche bursaries chebo MCAs choton ko chebo county kowek sukul young mothers. So asom kabisa ale yon kakiripoten cases chebo rape, keripoten cases chebo defilement, ongeteken action boyob kokisiek. Ongeteken action the community health promoters kenai kele kakisoru lakwani chebi ak kikoite kora kowek sukul.
Okay. En nguni komitindoi kibagengeisiek cheterter, mi chetinye ak kanisietab kwonyik, kotinye chetinye ak ng'alekab kalyet, une ng'alekab funding. Tos ikere ile kikotoret serikali kibagengeisiek cheu chu ako ne kit nemagat kemwoe kora kibagengeisiek chemabo serikali ngo NGOs alak kotukokimit ako kanapta kibagengeisiek cheu chu. Tos ame fundings cheonyoru?
Tomo kenyoru toreto nebo maana, kinyoru kityo trainings, lakini going forward komiten en biik chekakongei kole yenyor female aspirants chesome ng'echerok, chepyosok chekonugei kosom ng'echerok, konyoru kanetisiet, konyoru toreto kidogo, akonyor kora support nebunu kibagengeisiechu asikoborchigei kosom ng'echerani. Kiyoni kele chepyosok koyoe kit netot koyai akichek murenik. Kimoe keborchingei ng'echerochu tugul kibagenge ak murenik chuto choget amun kiyoni kele chepyoset can do better.
So in let us get around Joyce ko mongen en nguni kora ko miten anan en kasarta nekitokyingei lewenisiet neo ko miten kewelutik ak kaimutik nai terchinosiek chekoromen kot missing kolkolietab bolotet nekikere kele en kebeberta neo komoikochin chepyoset boroindo. Tos ikere ile ne kit nemakat keyai kilitit kora missing kotinygei ak ripsetab kalyet en kasartab campaigns asikoistoengei kanyalet age tugul?
Atkai tugul komotokitinye chepyosok chekeborchinigei ng'echerok security. Kosoman serikali ale yeit kasarta nekisome ng'echerochon kokoi security chepyosochon amun kibiliveni kele yoe the best yeek leaders chepyosochu. Asome kabisa kikoi security, asome koistogei biik chethreateni chepyosochon moe kosom ng'echerok sikotestai koyoiwech kasit chepyosochon. Mi chepyosok che potential kabisa nyokoyai kasit lakini amun en threats yonbo security ko shy away. So moe kesom serikali tun koribwech chepyosochon moe kokongei kosom ng'echerok kokoi security ya kutosha asikovaen kou biik alak akonyokondoiwech.
Okay, miten kora ng'alekab 30% tenders biik chetindoi kewelutik en borwek ak chepyosok ak neranik en serikalitab county ak national government. Tos mongen ale une en nguni noton tos ikere ile kiimplementen en oret nekararan ako kursong kanee koityi serikalisiekab county ak nebo national?
Ama encouragen any serikalisiekchok chebo county, chebo national government yon pcheito boisionik chebo serikali. Konyor PWDs their share 30%, konyor chepyosok their share nebo 30%. Even though kiyai research komablameni executive amun ibari iker ko kakikoito 30% kasit kwa women, kakikoito kasit 30% kwa PWDs, lakini hapa komi biik kora cheboisien documents. So ama lencho kabisa matokoite documents PWDs keboisien asibekeyai proxies ana koyai biashara ana koyai tenders biik chemochoton. Amae kepreserven wei kasit nebo kwonyik koyai kwonyik. Kepreserven biik kasisiek biashara chebo biik chetinye kewelutik en borwekwak koyai boisionik chechechwak.
Kongoi missing. Kongoi missing Joyce. So noton ko nebo ng'echeret en kibagengeit ne naat kou Amani Idumu en county nebo Kericho ng'ololchin ketisioni kotinygei ak tetutik chebo ripsetab kalyet, boisietab kwonyik en kakimitetab ripsetab kalyet ak missing ko tetutik cheterter chetinyegei ak lakwet ne chepto ak kwonyik en county nebo Kericho ole kakomuch kwaror kotinygei ak noton. So Victor Korir kong'eten county nebo Kericho, kainenyun ko Robert Sile, nawekun soet konyo tetutionoton konyo Kass TV, tetutionoton nebo Kass Mashinani. Kainenyun ko Robert Sile, testai iker Kass TV amun kimnotet naet. Victor Korir, nawekun soet konyo Nairobi.
Kongoi missing noto ko sirindetab logoiwek Robert Siele ng'ololi inendet ak agenge en kandoik chebo kibagengeit nebo Amani Idumu noto ko Mrs. Marindanye akobo ng'alek chetinyegei ak kasimchinetab kwonyik koek icheket chemiten tai en cheng'etab kalyet en komoswek cheterter missing ko komoswek choto chekemuch keboronchi ng'emetab kalyet en tai asikomuch kobit bandab tai ak tilyandit nemie en komoswek chotok ko missing Robert Sele. Ngunon chitab Kalenjin amache ketokyingei bunge nebo Senate. Ole en nguni komiten taitab bunge notok minista nebo ortinwek ak loiset notok ko Davis Chirchir kowolu tebutik cheterter chetinyegei ak tetutik anan projects chemiten ng'weny nebo ministry nenyinet notok nebo transport ak nguni kemoche ketokyingei yotok kekas kele tos ne tebutik chetindoi senators en CS Davis Chirchir.
The two projects are being implemented by the agency in the ministry are annexed in my response, and the ministry is aware of the economic significance of the two roads projects. However, the delay in completion is due to the pending payments or to the respective contractors as stipulated in my response. Let me deal with the first Muthiri, Kagoi, Baricho, Gedhuya segment of that road, where we have a pending bill of 107, almost 108 million Kenya shillings, and where the status of the road is 64% completed today. I did check, and I should have provided in this response that there is a budgetary allocation from the current printed estimates of 67 million, and that will help us to expedite and work this road towards completion. If we can get the contractor back to site on account of payment of that 67 billion. And because it is 64%, which is significantly work done, we'll ensure that with the budget ceiling in the printed estimate of 67.162 million, we will endeavor to ensure that we do provide the outstanding funds so that this road can be completed. But more importantly, Chair, with my background information, I did indicate that we are trying to do a bullet payment on a process. We are working to raise funds to pay for all the pending bills so that not only this road can, the contractors can go back to work, but we can get contractors on all roads in our counties to go back to work. On the second PI Mbiri Ngiriambu Road, this is one where Kirinyaga is among us the 15 roads which have been now fully funded through the China Africa Development Bank in the just concluded visit by His Excellency the President to China or Beijing during FOCAC summit. And then therefore, Honorable Chair Mheshimiwa, this road is now fully funded and we'll see works progressing without any further undue delay because this road is
Chitab Kolenjin in kenyit noto anan in betusiek chekobata arok chekobata koimuch kelumda task force nekindochin neki Chief Justice noto ko David Maraga nekitokyingei kocheng ortinwek chekimuch kewal ak kekanapta boisiet nebo ofisekab police chebo prisons ak NYS asikimuch konai anan konyor icheket boisionik kobois icheket en ortinwek chekororon. Ako yekiweke amache kenyoru kamuneno chekiweke ketokchinigei komosta nebo Lower Kabete asikinyorun report anan ngalalet nebo President William Ruto ne nguni kondochin lumdaetab report inoto.
Tetuteta hashtag nenitesetai Friday nebo wiki nitagibwatile hashtag nenitesetai mashinani tutakuwa pale Nakuru tungemite actenik cheboto Kilel Jazz Bruni Star
Titaneta mango ginau Titane uyango ginau
Ak Second Junior
Age unusek Achamin bepi
Korage ostini teninde tunoto was Shuttle Sisters.
You know that I'm put in the side of Musiki Magic.
Vibes and go mix moto komite one and only DJ Redmond. Iwatile crew toko leba hashtag nenitesitai tungemite for ni Nakuru County omite aganendet Jackie Arusei.
Chame gela suche sogi chame baba. Engainek chu kegurenon MC Mwalimu Yator Abuno Baringo atienindetab tienwogik chekilaswen akitororen Jehova.
Chame gela suche sogi chame baba. Chame gela suche sogi chame baba.
Atochok Sunday nieni pa tarik 22 arawetab 9 kenyini ketinye ak Samson Kurgat eng kipindit ab Bongitoror.
Ituti baba, ituti tesane baba ige.
Chitab Kolenjin kole komwaun ketokchinigei Kenya School of Government miten komosta nebo Lower Kabete en Nairobi asikenyoru report nengeten komosatak mising ngalalet nebo President William Ruto neindochi lumdaetab report noto nebo reforms of the police, Kenya prisons and NYS noto ko report nekimong task force nekindochin neki Chief Justice David Maraga.
Service Act, the National Police Service Commission Act, and several other foundational laws will be revised to align with contemporary needs and standards. And so will the legislation that will include the Kenya Correctional Services Bill and the National Forensic Science Laboratory Services Bill, which will also provide the necessary legal structures to support the changes that have been proposed. And we will be implementing this to modernize the security services and propel them to the highest standards of policing and best practice. To provide for seamless, expeditious, and effective progress in the task at hand, I make the following directives. First, the institutional arrangements necessary for the implementation of reforms shall be facilitated by respective ministries, departments, and agencies. Any changes and any challenges encountered during the implementation phase shall be addressed and resolved without delay through the established mechanism, and the gazettement of this particular implementation committee will provide the necessary nexus between all the agencies to make sure that issues that stand out are resolved. Any challenges encountered in any manner shall be forwarded to this committee. Further, I direct that development of policies and legislative reforms must be inclusive and must be participatory. The provision for public participation in our Constitution is no longer a sterile provision. It is a live provision that demands that the public be involved in how they want to see the services, whether it's police service or the national service or the correctional service in the next form. I am also very happy that we now have a public participation bill in the House that will create the requisite standards for public participation to be undertaken on all policy and legislation that will be undertaken by our Parliament. It is also essential that the National Police Service, Kenya Prison Service, and National Youth Service complete the development of their respective modernization strategies and plans within the next 3 months. I know there was a suggestion that this be undertaken over the next 6 months. I think 3 months is sufficient so that we can begin to figure out how what was recommended by the Maraga Task Force can be brought into being. Accordingly, the National Treasury will make adequate provision for funding to implement these interventions. Beyond legislation, we are also drafting new policies and revising old ones in order to redefine our national security landscape and chart a path to the future that is fully aligned with our constitutional framework as well as aspirations as a nation. The Public Order Management Policy, Community Policing Policy, and the National Correctional Service Policy will not merely be the guide for our officers, but will be the strategies aimed at ushering in a new era of community engagement and community cooperation. These policies are designed to forge a strong partnership between our security services and the community by building trust and enhancing cooperation between the public and law enforcement officers and agencies. As we move forward with these reforms, I urge each one of you to fully come on board and join in mobilizing the people of Kenya to take part in this transformative journey. And in my opinion, already we have undertaken some of the recommendations that were made by the Maraga Task Force, and they will largely be in 3 different categories as the committee undertakes this implementation responsibility. Institutional reform. We are looking at a police service, a national youth service, a prison service that is fit for purpose to deal with the challenges and to live up to the expectations of the people of Kenya in the 21st century. And therefore, the institutional reforms that have been recommended by the Maraga Task Force are a major cornerstone and pillar of the future of the three services and how the security service architecture will be built, focusing into a much more people-centered security service that is in line with our expectations and the constitutional parameters of respecting human rights and making sure that we safeguard the rule of law as a mechanism of underwriting our democracy and constitutionality. So institutional reform is going to be a very big portion, and recommendations on policy, recommendations on legislation that needs to be amended is critical to the delivery of this recommendation of the Maraga Task Force. The other focus must be on the human capital development and responding to the needs, the requirements, the capabilities, and the general terms of service of the men and women who are charged with this sector. It will go all the way to what we are discussing about the salaries, allowances, housing, transport, and many of the other aspects that are necessary for making sure that we get the best output out of the men and women who serve in this sector. We have started the journey with the first installment of salary reviews. We will be looking at the other allowances that come with it. And we will also be looking at career progression so that there is a career progression pathway that has always been a challenge. You know, an officer, we were given the example of an officer that is hired, and for 20 years, they are stuck in the same job group. That going forward is not going to be the case. There must be a clear career pathway so that everybody who joins the service has clarity on where they want to go, and they can work hard towards it to make sure that that career progression, continuous training is part of the available pathways for the people joining either the prison service or the National Youth Service or our police service. And the third aspect is going to be the space around equipment, around making sure that we have the requisite tools for the delivery of the job and the mandate for which the services have been assigned. And this will include capabilities around transportation, capabilities around communication, capabilities that will speak to digitization of the services that we are engaged in. And my very clear instructions is, as we digitize government services, we must onboard the digitization of police services, National Youth Service, and also our prison service. The legendary OB must be in digital form so that it is known if a Kenyan has been booked for whatever reason, it must be documented in a manner that cannot be tampered with. And I know there has been a process of digitizing our OB and the whole front the citizen-facing front of our National Police Service. That is an exercise that I would want to see completed in the shortest time possible, so that we can have much more predictability. I would also want to see the payment of fines digitized, instant fines, and all the other things that occur around payments. We must stop the culture of dealing in cash. We've moved away, and shortly we will have a cashless government that does not engage in the business of cash. I know there is a lot of resistance in some quarters, but we will make sure that this whole space we've leveraged on technology to make sure that we can drive the reform and efficiency in this sector to ensure that we have better outcomes in the management of our security. I am very happy that we are already making progress in all the three fronts. On the reform front, we have legislation that is already in the House. We have legislation that has already been proposed. I want to encourage the implementation team to expedite the formulation of the different policy that have already been worked on, to complete and brush some of the legislation that has been proposed, so that we can engage Parliament in the shortest time possible. On matters equipment, we already have rolled out the modernization of our police service. The first phase, we already have equipment that have been purchased for use by our policemen and women, especially in the difficult areas that we have. And that process is ongoing. I committed that we're going to have a 20 billion shilling program to modernize our police. And now we're going to include the other two services as well, the prisons and the NYS, so that we give them the necessary tools for them to discharge their responsibility. I'm very happy that we have started this process. The first deliveries have already been received. And I just want to commit that we are committed to making sure that that process gets to its logical conclusion. Let me also say that we have concluded the procurement of the first 1,000 e-vehicles that will be used by our police and members of the National Government Administration. It is part of our response to making sure that even as we transport or improve the mobility of our men and women, we are also responding to matters climate change and making sure that we are aligned with the requirements of e-mobility. Let me also say that along the same area of making sure that we are equipping these services, already there are houses that are complete. In fact, I was being asked to go and open some for our policemen and our prison service and our National Youth Service. And the Ministry of Housing tell me that in our institutional housing program that we are undertaking under our housing agenda, 32,000 houses are being built for our security services, from the military to the NYS to the National Police Service and to the prison service. And I want to ask the PSS responsible here to make sure that they are in tandem and in line and in collaboration with the Ministry of Housing, so that we can provide decent housing for our security men and women. We are aware that in some cases, some of our prison officers live in houses that are not so different from the prison itself. Because if an officer is living in a mud house, you know, the difference between a mud house and a prison is very small. And that cannot be the case. And that is the reason why we extended our housing program to include institutional houses for our military, for our police, for our NYS, and for our prisons. And I want to ask the three services to provide the land, and we are going to work with you. Already, our focus is to build 32,000 units for our security sector. We know that that is not adequate, but it is the first step as we modernize our housing program for our security agencies. And therefore, we want to match our word with what we are doing, so that this sector that provides and underwrites our collective security and stability as a nation is better resourced to be able to discharge their mandate. Let me also say that as we move forward with these reforms, I want to urge each one of you to be fully on board and to join in mobilizing the people of Kenya to take part in this transformative journey. The success of these initiatives does not just depend on the actions of the government, but also on active participation and strong support from every segment of our society, from policy and strategic leadership to local community leaders, and from our brave men and women in uniform to the citizens that they serve. Out of the realization that everyone has a role to play, we shall employ an all-of-society approach to the implementation of this strategic framework. Let us therefore work closely together and complement one another to create an environment where our police, prisons, and youth services are not only respected and trusted by the people, but also integral to the communities that they serve. This is how we shall build a future where these institutions symbolize integrity and justice. I take this opportunity to affirm my full commitment to oversee these reforms and ensure that they are implemented to achieve the transformation of our security services into models of public trust and efficiency. Together, we have an opportunity to collaborate and to make sure that these reforms go beyond mere changes in policy and deliver meaningful improvements that will endure and inspire generations that will come after us. And I want to respectfully ask all the other arms of government, our parliament, our judiciary, independent institutions, to support these policy changes that we are making to our security sector, because the security sector is the guarantor for our democracy and rule of law. It is not possible for us to enforce the rule of law and to guarantee our democracy if our security sector is not up to its responsibility and mandate. And therefore, a whole of government approach in reforming our security sector, making sure that the institutions in our security sector have the requisite institutional backbone and framework to support its modernization, and the requisite tools and capabilities to undertake this huge and sacrosanct responsibility, but also the men and women who serve under terms and conditions that inspire them to discharge their responsibility. It is our collective duty as a nation to support, because our democracy is dependent on respect for the rule of law. And the rule of law is guaranteed by making sure that we have men and women who make sure that each and every one of us keeps to the straight and narrow and respects the rule of law. A country without respect for the rule of law will not and cannot guarantee itself as a democracy. Democracy runs on the engine of the rule of law. And that is why it is necessary for us to collectively and as a society and all arms of government support the security sector in making sure that they have the requisite capabilities to be able to undertake the responsibilities that they have been assigned. If we do this together, present and future generations of Kenyans will experience, appreciate, and celebrate the fruits of your commitment to the institution of sound, effective, professional, and ethical national security institutions that will guarantee peace and security as the foundational enablers of Kenya's economic transformation. It is very clear to me that together we can achieve this. And I want to ask all of us to work together selflessly for the good of the nation. I am acutely aware that the National Police Service is an independent institution, and so is the judiciary. But ultimately, we have one master, the people of Kenya. And we must make sure that we work together towards serving not interests of individuals, but the collective interest of the people of Kenya. And therefore, I want to ask for more collaboration, more working together, that the independence that we respect and enjoy must also
Kitab Kalenjin noto President William Ruto kongololi en Kenya School of Government miten Lower Kabete kon kasarta neindochin rumdaetab reforms anan report noto nebo task force nekichenge ortinwek cheimuch kewal boisionik chebo police chebo prisons koboto kora chebo NYS asikomuch konyor icheget kamuget nebo koboisien oret nekararan akoik icheget biik chetoreti serikalitab emetab Kenya ak bororietab Kenya koityi magutikyik mising ko chebo kalyet ak noto ko report neitwech kamuget nenwach kiweksene matian logoiwekab emet chebendi koitun en koindo konotok meloitwen Kass Tv.
Rahisi uko na nafasi tatu ya kuwa milionea kila awa. Usipitwe, cheza Daka, ushike mita yako sasa. Chagua nambari zako 4 za bahati and win up to 10 million every 20 minutes. Nenda kwenye paybill 440440. Account Kass. Amount cheza na shilingi 20 hadi shilingi 2,000 na ushinde mamilioni. Daka mita, kuwa bingwa.
Fine Touch Africa Limited inakuletea pipes za irrigation na pipes za kusambaza maji zijulikanazo kama Fine Drop HDPE pipes. Fine Touch inatengeneza pipe hizi kwa ubora wa hali ya juu na kuuza kwa bei nafuu. Fine Touch Africa pia wanahusika na pipes za drip irrigation, rain hose, sprinklers na vilevile pampu za maji. Vifaa vingine vya irrigation kutoka Fine Touch ni kama vile greenhouses, agricultural nets, dam liners, solar pumps, rain guns, planting trays, miongoni mwa vifaa vingine vya kilimo. Kwenye mji wa Nakuru tunapatikana industrial area nyuma ya Gido Plaza. Eldoret tunapatikana Nakuru Road baada ya daraja la Sosiani. Pia tuko Kitale, Kapsabet, Iten, Bomet, Bungoma, Nyahururu na sehemu zingine nchini. Nairobi tunapatikana eneo la Embakasi, Saku Business Park. Ili kufahamu mengi kuhusu bidhaa za Fine Touch Africa, tembelea duka la Fine Touch Africa lililo karibu nawe au utupigie simu kwa nambari 0724 615 066 au 0700 169 962. Kwenye tovuti unatupata kwenye www.finetouch.co.ke. At Fine Touch, we make it green.
Gongo Jehova, Gongo Jehova, Gongo Jehova. Hii mchezo wa daka na mamili niliona kwa TV. So nikachukua simu yangu, nikaenda kwa lipa na M-Pesa, nikaweka 440440, alafu nikatuma. So nikaambiwa mimi ni mshindi wa shilingi 250. So nikafurahi sana, nikaita familia yangu, tukasherekea, tukashukuru Mungu. So hiyo pesa nitalipia fees na nitaongeza ukulima.
Nenda kwenye paybill 440440 account Daka amount, cheza na shilingi 20 hadi shilingi 2000 na ushinde mamilioni. Daka Mita, kuwa bingwa.
Itagan missing chitab Kalenjin olekab emet cheitun ngunon en koindo ketokchinigei county nebo Bomet ole kotoi kongelelchi boisiet konetik chebo sukulitab barak nebo Bomet University College kosimchin icheket serikali koker kole kaisuldaen magutikwak missing ko konyit CBA anan Collective Bargaining Agreement nebo kenyitab 2021 to 2025 ako kondochin nebo ng'echeret en Kenya University Staff Union komwa konetik kole mawekse let anan mawekse boisiet icheket agoi kekosyi rirekwak ak keisuldaen magutikwak. Nyoru report neibwech Festus Arono.
When you are ready, you tell us so that we can start.
Members of the press, here we are having members of WASU and KUSU, Bometi University College chapter. They are agitating for the better terms of their members. The negotiations for the CBA 2021-2025 have collapsed. We are out raising our voices so that we can be listened to and be attended to. Also, in the background, you can see we have got comrades, the students, who are bleeding, the one that teachers, their lecturers in the classroom to attend to them. It's unfortunate. We are out. I'll not talk much. I'll welcome our KUSU secretary to address us, who will in turn welcome our very able WASU secretary to also address us. My names are Dr. Sangura Ramari Muhebi Robert, the chapter WASU chair. Welcome, my brother Simam.
Brother, my name is Timon Simam, a chair representative of the Kenya University Staff Union. and we are coming out strongly to show support and ensure that the CBA 2021-2025 is brought into effect. Solidarity.
Forever.
Let me give this opportunity to the Secretary, Wasu Chapter, Bomet University.
Solidarity.
Forever.
Solidarity.
Forever.
My name is Obala Msumba. I'm the chapter secretary of Bomet University College, WASU. We are here to launch our strike. We are launching our strike because the government and the government representatives who are negotiating the CBA 2021-2025 have become uncooperative, they have become elusive, and they have become cunning. And so our strike is to ensure that the CBA is negotiated, concluded, and implemented. That is what we want. We have so many issues at the university, the public universities especially, and we don't support the new funding model because it has so many elements that are very unfriendly and hostile to our students, hostile to our parents, and hostile to the teaching fraternity. We are not of the opinion that university lecturers and university workers as general should get their pay from the funding. And the problem with the funding that we have had being toted around all the way from the president down to anybody else who is supporting it is shrouded in mystery and misinformation. First of all, the previous funding was not the problem. The problem was the government not remitting its part, not remitting the capitation on time, and that has seen the public universities immerse themselves into a lot of debt, and running the university has become very difficult. So if you ask us what is the best alternative, the best alternative for us is that students should be allowed to learn for free, because the taxes that we are paying as the citizens of Kenya is a lot. It is enough to sustain the students in school from pre-unit, from early childhood to tertiary. The issue of this funding or that funding, even if you brought funding from heaven, it will not solve the issues if the government is not genuine. So we are here to strike until the CBA 2021-2025 is negotiated, concluded, and implemented. Thank you very much.
Yes, my name is Larry Kadima, a very humble boy from Kakamega County. I'm in Band 5, first year student though, second year. So my problem with this government is one, the funding model. When you look at this funding model, for example, me have been placed in Band 5. My father is not working. My mother is working. So, and the father is the breadwinner. You know this funding model cannot work. I don't know how this government is working. So we're very angry with this government. So they should just use other means so that we can be banded very well. And this issue of banding should just get out of people's mind, because we as comrades, we are suffering. For example, let's say a person in Band 1, a person in Band 5, 22,000. 22,000 is not enough for comrade for one term, because it does not sustain all the required needs for the comrades. Comrades power! Power! Comrades power! Power! So
kengeten county nebo Bomet kewekse ulieba Nairobi ele kokitebsen anan kokitebsen David Kibet Kemei nekokilewen kondochi kibagengeit nebo Competition Authority ako katebsen inendet committee nebo Senate ak nebo National Assembly en tetutik chetinye inendet ako choto ko chemoche kosuldaen en boisionik chebo kibagengeinotok. Senator nebo Kakamega Boni Khalwale, MP nebo Baringo North Joseph Makilap ko alak en membaekab bunge chekatebsen inendet anan katebsen icheget David Kibet Kemei ak inyoru report inotok en wakinda.
I debate Kemei. What strategic thinking do you want to bring in office, Mr. Kemei, to respond to the concerns of sugarcane farmers in this country? The first move, strategic move, is to have a working framework with a bank that allows the Competition Authority of Kenya the ability to go in there and look at competition matters, which we would like many banks to have entry and exit, so that we remove any barriers to that market.
How do you plan to ensure transparency and accountability within the Competition Authority of Kenya?
We implement our competition laws so that we have fair competition in all our markets. That gives room to all businesses to grow and create jobs.
Policies and intervention will contribute to the fostering inclusive economy.
We actually promote innovation among all the players in all sectors, so that then we can actually expand our economy and make sure that we create some jobs in this country.
Ak kong'eten korik chotok bo bunge kiwektege county nebo Kericho ole kakecher kwonyik en county notok kokiljigei boisionik cheipchin icheket keljin asikonyor kakimitet ak kanaptaetab sobet kou biik alak asikomuch kora kotech emetab Kenya. Ako miten en taonit notok sirinyo nebo logoiwek notok ko Robert Siele. Ako miten ak Deputy Majority Whip en County Assembly nebo Kericho notok ko Bavina Serem. Ako kimache kenyorun report nenywanet anan ng'alalenywan en oret nebo agenge en agenge kong'eten taonit nebo Kericho.
Kongoi mising Victor Gorinen studio nebo Kass TV anyorunen oret nekararan en nguni amiten en county nebo Kericho ole en nguni ko en kasarta nekokikatestai kaita kurset koityi chepyosok en emoni koker kole kaimuch koipchi kamanut boisionikwak asikonyor icheket kelchinoik mising en yaetab boisionik akonyor kerkeindo kou biik alak en emoni. En kasarta kora netesetai ng'alalet en county nebo Kericho kotinygei ak gender bill nebo 2023 nemoche keker kole kaimuch ketoi ng'atutik anan keib policies cheimuche koker kole kaimuch kotoret lakwet ne chepto ak chepyosok en county noton nebo Kericho. Kotinygei ak noton Victor Gorinen miten en nguni ak Deputy Majority Whip en County Assembly nebo Kericho noton ko Bafina Serem. Le amache sikobit kororwech kotinygei ak boroindo nebo chepyoset en county nebo Kericho ak kasirtoetab ng'atutik mising ko kotinygei ak gender bill asikoker kole kaimuch konyor anan konyor kerkeindo chepyosok ak konyor borotet en betusiek chebwone ak en emet ak en county noton nebo Kericho. Itakatin kitsin noton nebo Kass TV en betutab raini. Tos mangen ale en nguni ko tesetai ng'alalet mising kotinygei ak ng'alekab gender bill, kakimitetab chepyosok anan empowerment. Tos ne kit nemakat keyai anan ne kit neikere ile makat kiletit asikonyor mara chepyosok ak kebourenchi bandab tai en emet?
Kongoi mising Siele, en ngunon kou yekeker ko kakimiten tuyet koboto chepyosok anan officials kobun UN United Nations chekitoretigei tugul koboto County Assembly ak chepyosok officials kobun county nebo Kericho kechob billit anan sheria noton netoreti ng'alekab chepyosok. En nguno makitinye sheria age tugul. Ngelen okot keteb akobo budget anan allocation nebo chepyosok chekitoreten gender based violence, chekitoreten lagok che tibik, chekiadressenen teenage pregnancies ko mamiten sheria negoideni. So ko ngunon ketesetai ak sheria notok nekisome en County Assembly MCAs che murenik kotoretech kabisa kosirto bilinitok sikobit ketoret chepyosok. Matoret chepyosok icheken, toreti ngele gender kotoreti agoi the other gender, both genders. So ko sana komi perception kole gender billini konyokotieche murenik, toreti chepyosok icheken ko maunon. So kisome our male counterparts en assembly ketoretkei kisirten billini siketoret kwonyikyok ak ketoret lagok ak persons with disabilities. Yes.
Ibetab mara mang nebo public participation anan ibetab keretab biikab emet asikisuldaen tetutikab bill asiketau kisuldaen billishek cheu chu. Ko tos mangen ale une reception en ground en biikab emet, tos tindoi naet akobo imandanywan mising ko chepyosok chemiten en kokwotunwek ako ano makat kikimit?
Tuko makat konetisiet ako kisome kora akot en ketsoshekkyok akot boto Kass FM ketoretkei kinet chepyosokyok en resop. Biik chechang kotomo komong, tomo konai kole ne ne aki nebo chepyosok kou yekamwaun kange discussen ikano ko ng'alekab gender based violence kotakomi barak kora en county nito. Cham okere reporteni ng'alek ako sana komong'u yan kakoit extreme end. Ikere mong'u chito yan kakoumian, yan kakebar anan ko yan kakeumisan. Nibu ko chang issues chebo gender based violence chemiten en orit olin chemomong'u. Sana kotiekyin kele biikab kokwet kitore kipkaa. So ngunon ke-encourageni chepyosokyok ak tibik yon kakinyor issues cheu chechon komat kosista. Ingen ile most of them kotore kipkaa amun mokonye ngemong kele kokile koistakan lakwetab kabanum koilianen koistakan boyondeng'ung koiwei biik chechang kiyotok so that ngomong'u ko kakoit the extreme end kakebar chito anan ko kakeumisan kuni kikere en komosta nebo Sigawet chepyoset nekakitil itit katil chepyoset in manong'otiondanyin itit kot koit ng'weny kole makasanit ikere ile issues cheu choton chon konyolu takinet bikyok ak kinet chepyosokyok kole at what extent nenyolu koker kole kakoloit ng'alechu nan moketore kipkaa nan ketar okot kisheria anan ko involven kanisa.
Oret nekisubi sikenyor imanda kasarta nemara kanyor kanyalilet chepyoset ko tos unen koboto biik chechang kole kemong en gaa keba kapkirwokindet keit kap DC kecheng ofisisiek chebo gender tos ikere ile makat ketoi ortinwek mara kedevolven ofisisiek cheu cho kokwatunwek anan or ne makat keboisien asitikerikyi.
Nyolu keboisien kibagenge kou ngunon the immediate chito nenyoru ng'alechu sana ko boyob kok ak kirwokindet chesib konyoru notok kimoche keyai sensitization keker kele kangoityi bichu ko escalaten akichek koit authorities chenyolu matketekyi en yotok amun biik chechang chekuu yekamwaun kotore kipkaa so ko ngunon en gender bill what we are working on kemoche kekora keker kele kakitech rescue center so that confident chito kongen kole yekarabamwaite ko mi ole aung'engei amun ingen lenen chito karon bamwa kewekyonkei kora nyokobiran anan kobaran nebo tugul so kemoche ketech rescue center ole makilenen komong kosirgei biik en korik. Rescue center ni kora konyekeng'ololjin ak kikochi counseling ako ngot komukoksei kora kikochi counseling koboto boyondanyin sikobit kemeto acts cheu chon chebo gender based violence.
En let kora ko kaimutiet neo en county nebo Kericho ng'alekab early childhood pregnancies kaburunetab lagok chemengechen tos mong'ol ale nekit nemakat keyai ako kurson kone koityi sigik ak guidance cheribe lagok kotinygei missing keker kele imuch kechikil ak kerib lagok cheu choton.
Ng'alekab teenage pregnancies kou yekikamwa last year we were at 15%. I think there's a slight drop kele I think we are 13 or 14 neikere ile takomite barak kora imagine lagok 100 ko 13 of them teenagers komanaktos kotakomi primary anan kotoko teenagers ikere ile noto kora konyolu takeker amun sana yan kakomanach chepto kunon ko ng'alekab sukul ine ko kakout kounon ako lakwet korib lakwet ingo ikere ile moche koui kidogo especially en kiuchumi so ko kimoche kora our chiefs takoker kora ng'oliondonoto amun sana biik cheimonochin lagochu ko biik okot cheechen biik okot chemiten kasisiek biik chetindoo families so kimoche kora keker kele kokirib yotok ak kong'et kora sigik koek very careful ak kesich kora time nebo keng'ololchi lagokyok amun most of them koma exposed mongen ng'alechu bo pregnancies ikere kora ile teenage pregnancies chuton chu kobendote kora kasambasanetab miondo neng'oi noton nebo ukimwi amun ikere kangoite komanai lakwet kora ko ikere ile kamami ng'alekab kinga so ikere ile very alarming ngemwa kunon kele manaktos lagok chemengech ikere ile ngot kobendote ak miondo kora ikere ile kibeti lagok chechang so kimoche keker kele kakitoretkei akot en county assembly kewokenen noton ne cham ko shida ko budget ko noton we are working towards that keboisien gender bill niton sikoek sheria so that kikonech budget kinetate lagochu keboisien kebunote sukulisiek ak kebun okot keipchini sanitary towels amun keipchi sanitary towels kenyoru nafas keng'ololjin amun most of them kora ninyoru sinyoru komanaktos takounyegei lagok ngotindoo ng'alekab menstrual cycles kounyegei amun yon moityin konyor ng'alekab sanitary towels komuche ot keluaren ak kelenjin nam chuton chu sialen sanitary towel in the process ke-impregnaten so ikere ile stakeholders chechang chenyolu kobwa ketoretkei en county ketoretkei ak mama county ak ketoretkei biik chechang anan kandoik chechang sikobit kebar this vice.
Kongoi mising. So Victor Gorir noton ko majority whip en county assembly nebo Kericho Mheshimiwa Honorable Pafina Serem ngololchin ketishan kaikas kakwaror kotinygei ak kamanutietab gender bill ne makat kasam kora stakeholders cheterter keboisien kibagenge kesuldaen ak kerib imanda nebo lakwet ne chepto ak kwonyik en county noton nebo Kericho ak en emoni. So nawekun soet Victor Gorir en tuzo noton itestai logoiwekab emet alak kobun kebeberwek cheterter chebo emoni. Kainenyun ko Robert Siele, testai ker Kass Tv amun kimnatet naet.
Kongoi mising noto chitab Kolenjin ko Robert Siele ko itwech en county nebo Kericho ngololi ak Deputy Majority Whip nebo County Assembly nebo Kericho Pafina Serem ngololi ak magetab kwonyik koik icheket chemiten tai en yaetab boisionik chetoreti en kanaptaetab bororiet en atkai tugul. Ak ketestai kitokyinigei anan kewektoi logoiwek chekanywirchi konda en tai en taonit nebo Eldoret ole katestai en nguni kibagengeisiek chebo konetik chebo WASU ak UDHEA en sukulitab barak nebo University of Eldoret kong'eleljin boisiet kosubok nemwoe kole tomo kisuldochi magutikwak cheboto melekwek ak neo kora konemoyoni icheket oret anan arorutiet nelel netieme koboisien serikali nebo University Funding Model nemwoe kole indoi ole ng'oi somanet nebo lagok mising ko chebunu korik chemoimuchigei. Kinyoru ripoti notok en oret neuni.
UOE fraternity. Today we are here. That is WASU, KUSU, and even KUDHEA. As the Secretary General WASU, we have come out today because our strike began last night at midnight. WASU and the other unions have been in negotiation since the year 2020. First, before that, Kenyans are aware that every coin that every university worker has now has been through sweat and blood. The grades that we have now, we have been forced to be going to the road, we have been forced to be striking, we have been forced to be shouting, we have embarrassed our institutions of higher learning because of poor remuneration. Remember the overtaxation that is there in this country. The chief, we have this other one called housing. And now they have brought in a funding model that is so confused. They have brought a task force to investigate the funding model while our students have arrived. That is the money that every worker will be paid through. It is shame in this country that university workers wait for school fees of students so that they are paid. And we have said no. We have said enough is enough. So today we have come out as the three unions and we have said all universities will be closed. By 1 p.m. today, there will be no university, so that we shall go and sit with these people so that they implement our CBA and it is registered. We will only leave this field if we get our money in the accounts. So, members, we are tired of promises. The new minister, I don't know, it's called Mokamba or Okamba, whichever name. He is not even aware which band he is. And we have said no to any minister who want to confuse us. We will only listen to our national secretary generals of all the unions. So from today, we'd like to tell our students, for you to enjoy the future life, please pray for us. Pray for us to get this money. We have become demotivated. Our loans have not been paid. Universities like Moi University, Faulu, and the other banks are now attaching their property. KRA are after them. It is shameful what we are going through. And we are saying today, this is the last strike that we are going to bring in sanity to our universities. We are going to ensure that every worker will enjoy life. Fulisa has finished our workers. Everyone here is now in Fulisa. Mshwari is after our necks.
Chitab kolenjin choto kulekab emet chekaimuch keibun en koindo kobun mesetab logoiwek nebo Kass Tv. Kainenyun ko Victor Korir nekakimiten tuan koibun logoiwek en oret nebo kaborunoik ko Naomi Cherotich kimagun betut nekararan.
In Zari, nothing is certain.
Nothing will ever be the same again.
Will you survive the jealousy?
Unajiona tajiri, eh? Zitaisha tu tuone utaringa na pesa gani.
The secrets.
Ukiambia mtu yeyote boss.
Nini uniambia Lola?
The deception.
To family.
Will Nina survive Lola?
How is this possible?
The ultimate face-off. Zari continues weeknights at 8:30 on Maisha Magic Plus, DSTV channel 163, GoTV channel 3.
Gongo Jehova, Gongo Jehova, Gongo Jehova. Hii mchezo wa daka na mamili niliona kwa TV. So nikachukua simu yangu, nikaenda kwa lipa na M-Pesa, nikaweka 440440, alafu nikatuma. So nikaambiwa mimi ni mshindi wa shilingi 250. So nikafurahi sana, nikaita familia yangu, tukasherekea. Tukashukuru Mungu. So hiyo pesa nitalipia fees na nitaongeza ukulima.
Nenda kwenye paybill 440440 account Daka amount cheza na shilingi 20 hadi shilingi 2000 na ushinde mamilioni. Daka mita kuwa bingwa.
Tetuteta hashtag nenetestai Friday neba wiki nitakiwatile hashtag nenetestai mashinani tutakuwa pale Nakuru tungemite actinic choboto Kilel Jazz Bruni Star
Titane tomongo ginau Titane uyango ginau
Act Second Junior
Achamin bepi
Korage ostini teninde tunoto watch Shuttle Sisters.
You know that I'm voting in the side of Musiki Mati.
Vibes and go mix moto komite one and only DJ Redmond. Iwatile crew toko leba hashtag nenetesitai tungemite for mi Nakuru County omite aganendet Jackie Arusei.
Chame gela suche sogi chame baba. Engainek chu kegurenon MC Mwalimu Yator Abuno Baringo atinindetab tienwogik chekilaswen akitororen Jehova.
Chame gela suche sogi chame baba. Chame gela suche sogi chame baba.
Atochok Sunday nieni pa tarik 22 arap sokol kenyini ketinye ak Samson Kurgat eng kipindit ab Bongitoror.
Ituti baba, ituti tesane baba ige.
Tetutiet nebo mungaret ak bandab tai ko tetutiet ne lel neitun en Kass TV o Kass FM International. Inoni ko tetutiet ne inoiseun ak komuch konetin kotinygei ak bandab tai nebo emet. Kimutu toek asikomuch ketebsen kotinygei ak bandab tai nebo emet ak missing ko asikomuch kotoretin inyor naet kotinygei ak tuguk chemuch kotoretin kebendi tai. Mengosirin tetutiet noton oibun Shadrack Mutai en kila kasitab somok kong'etegei sait agenge agoi sait somok en Kass FM International or Kass TV.
Daka mamili virahisi uko na nafasi tatu ya kuwa milionea kila awa. Usipitwe, cheza Daka, ushike mita yako sasa. Chagua nambari zako 4 za bahati and win up to 10 million every 20 minutes. Nenda kwenye paybill 440440 40. Account
Kass.
amount cheza na shilingi 20 hadi shilingi 2000 na ushinde mamilioni. Dakamita kuwa bingwa.
Then you realize that I had fibroids.
Chamgeigetab Kass Tv nitwelegerenes kanenyu ko Chepkwet Blends akotat minutitab betutab raini tetut noton nekimiten ak Solomon Karutete akomache inendet keng'alalen akobo tililindo en korik. Solomon, karibu sana, mache atachin imwochi biik amune simach ing'alalen akobo noton.
Kongoi Chepkwet. Atorori Jehova eng betut nebo rani ne kakituiyogei eng Kass Media, Kass YouTuber Ainab Kipkeles. So atorori Jehova nekendoiwok ndindiret. Kitaetongana sana chamegei. So aleni kostoik chemasta baga manje yotinde nandi usube kibindini otebi kobote je koy kisunet sikeng'alal akobo tililindo. Chepkwet ng'alale tililindo konekochin kapchi kotebi kotonon akole ikoi baba simamando ikoi ngurkat kolejin sikotobe lagok ole karokto tunga akole testai chametab kei nebo gaa.
Solomon, tos en korik ko ng'o nenyolu koribe tililindo?
Kongoi mising akachek tugul akot sikimite ko kikitebe unekab sigik tuwai lakini chito nekit ko mama. Ko chito nenyolu korib tililindo ko mama nebo lagok konyolu ko mwalimuiyot nenekit ako kanetindet neo eng lagok eng gaa. Ineni mi ak lagok kerub kwomisie koruitos kobendote ak kwai kiy tugul ko mama mwalimuiyot neo kobor nyolu kotounigei tililindo mama.
Animwa ile mama ko nyolu ko mwalimu nebo tililindo. Matindoi mchango baba en tililindo?
Matatinye wakina baba sinyen. Wakina baba kityo ko material siribe tililindo. Lele chito nyolu rib kaa kotililit ko mama. Amu mama ko tililindo ko bo maana ne. Ango sigere wakina baba alak che makotepche gaa. Ko yemwesha alak amu ko mama kemwarana ile ribno tililindo kemwochin kotobe wakina baba mamenye ngal chang. Baba kemwochin ngoliot agenge. Ko ileji koloi anan ko lajo ngoliot kota. Ko bo kamanut no ngoliot notok ne igochin kotonon gaa ak igochin karakter atepto nekararan lagok kotepso lagok akobo tililindo ako mabeku tililindo notok mautye lakwet. Yes.
Solomon, ingen isile baba ko baba nebo kot koyoche ko strict anan ko tebi kong'ee komang'ee sakine tililindo en kot.
Ngong'ee baba kong'ee alani chito neo kabisa ko mama. Chito nyemendia nene kaso koterekta kaa kole ingen aje murenik ko kikiyek kufanya ne. Makiribe muren tugun chechang kele kityo karibu kaa ak kerib tililindo itebe kora kotililit kelechi karibu yani ngoliot noto ne ako rahisi ne makali ile baba kityo karibu kaa ak ile ne karibu tebi tilil mi kwonyik sinyen Chepkwet chengimande rani kole imande situye kumbokab lakwet angorekab lagok situye rongitisiek chekichutot ngony akbendi kemoi akichutot ngoroik ako ingen ngoroik kora kotindoi harufutab beekab lagok nekochin baba komwei kabisa baba mwei kabisa baba konyor harufutab lagok kosikokwerige compound kole komwei baba kabisa Aku kiyoto koikochigei mama tabanat. Tuguk cherahisi nia. Kiib sabunit yake mut koro kirib tilildo. Kirahisi nia. Lakini kametegei chito koeshogei. So tabe ko kon boy. Amingen amba baba mmoy kole samwen ka kone. Ikere mga tepchi kon. Le metem ngole ko kere ko se. Ko ta baba kole ba mami ka. Le ba ko amite mita ko tuang matita moi. Kakao tagi ako ko sa rubunu angot yakula. Kumarekta. Imite chafu ka bla ko kan nang kumarekta. Yes.
Salomon. Okay, magi play me nitia sai ta gituya bi go inje muri gituya baba ang mama. Mangen mama tirilinda mangen baba tirilinda. To sa pekte ni lago ye ingoi tesa ta go chikitu.
Mama sha mana toro. Mungu ngam mago. Ni barang na ni na. Me titus bi go ngerge. Ngotili la ko serve tia ta kapsa. Ko mo asuru to gole. Kala so gonap chige ni gisinda. So kigicho pake mago gituya bi ke jabu so tindu wa. Kinda genge na yebi kinda genge na serve tia. So ngeni ayebdi na fangelis ko saboteni ako masha nata mogi to bi kerge ako tingo gire tap kene boga kumenyor mama na bartinge mandeleo ak papa na bartinge mandeleo igere ko mingo nyake so gijom na telo so saboten ge sigirot tin gele so ko bit ko saboten ge ngala le ko bola ko chuka ge mo le aftani
ko to mi wela go
yes
miten mama nenyo ne got ko golgoli maras ko ser ko tiat ke yake ako papa ko mara gari bitin le ni pauche bio sal
gara ngaliona ge teba nan na mami kenere so ge bagur snyen ga go chukumura ngime ba mi to go baga mai baba ne banganat automatically ge bagu ngap mani mu mu jigo jakula wa ge dem ngaliona no man ko pun woro tun ki jang ne ngap samdam ko mi mama ne kol kap saman lakin samdam mara go bugo to yon ay boy yon mara go bugo to ko ginga dulu gi bugo to dis lan ga bi shonga ne ma no wendi ko munya kita be gol mag munya ga mai ne aw gi ngi tul go no gi boy yon mai Bunyi kau baru lagi nyonya cita kan maya yang mama ni biasa aku pilih boy yon mama ko mau le mag munya kita ne bogo to te aw gi ngo tun boy yon gi ngo bogo to igu yan nai mama na da lo nyonya cita na mo bogo to ama ja kwan mama boy yon ni kulu ako bet komen dan baba ko te ko tonon baba nga ngore na gararam mama ini gne igojin on manu utiot ko meta mayek atep top kuondo na nyalu not al kandang alala na garara nangi gas kapsa igas tunju mo tabaru kiro mo gole garbu igas tunju wo tigas kai to ama
mo chanya go ni kabul lago affect ni lago murindo
affect ni sai to ni TV ko bi kematerche kima lago nga ni pota family ndaman ko affect ni TV kamu TV mes ko banyak tionda ga mi taban ni mingen ko mo ina ne kijarate to mo manya kita ni kita dilla ko nyana TV ki jangi gere kororon ribe barak ako gengolali ko bibi ci ginyor ko tilile ni sa tilile ngap sa yalla ngap sa gire ko mayo ko mama len de ni ulimba ko to den ko ya gasin to ya ngori yet ke muta gen de una ge meta meset ko sar ko meset magu sunyuru mo bore blog ci babalagat semanya sa safa mi ko ndana manda subui na ma mo ko nyori ko ri ko manda subui ma alma ako ek soine gujun ko to mi ngore lu gor lagat tisha kan le ko mi ni jita atebana to mo ito kana baba ko manda sang ako meto wari kwagi ako uti chugu mo tamu atepto kyo luk tamaga amo mami aliat ka ule many
to script anu tililindi ngore
kasa me gasabi kyo galangungat ko rota katul lakini kino no me gindo tenga ule nyo ako dami mi tuaga ako mami tilinda ga como mi lege bendi mag fu ben mai shafsa kai bisyo como gonyo atepta na araran glo goju amu ga ngolale ko balakwet kai ko tunu se lakwet kiun gitu ni sesi nyen ngong da be tele do gitu ni kwanda itu ni gamet igere via ne tendo gamet akwan ngiti gere kwan gi ge boy ko to mo tendo galia mag bay nyoru jito sama to muing barabara ko tendo kwanda ag nyoru kwanda